Hey there folks, Sifu Slim out here bright and early looking at the Channel Islands in Santa Barbara. First of all, I wanted to tell you that today's message is fitness is free. Very important. I'm even using just some very inexpensive flip-flops that don't have any plastic cutting into me. And these are my footwear for my limited soul running today. And I'm running up this beautiful, not very traveled, old highway that leads to the top of the mountain. So that's what I'm up to. And I wanted to share with you that we've got a great view today of the Channel Islands off the coast of Santa Barbara, California, with Santa Cruz, San Miguel, Anacapa, and not Catalina, I'll think of it in a second, but the Channel Islands, and just gorgeous out there. You can see them off in the distance. They're somewhere between 27 and 32 miles off the coast of Santa Barbara, and there's one more way up there. It's hard to see in the haze. And off in the distance you see a tower, and that's at the Santa Barbara airport. And that airport has a nice history. It is home to the part of the genesis of drag racing, probably back in the 1930s, 50s, somewhere in there. Original drag racing that took off in the United States, and so that's part of its heritage. So I wanted to remind you folks that getting out in nature is so important, and I'm rocking the earbuds today, actually the wired earpiece for the iPhone, and I've got this belted down with a bandana, otherwise it sometimes pops out on the run. And so I'm out here just doing my thing. I'm getting the endorphins going, de-stressing right in the beginning, and I'm gearing up for a ski trip. So I tend to do more hill runs in November, December, and January, getting ready and maintaining the ski conditioning. And that's really important. Why would you want to go out to a place that's sometimes hard to get to and not be fit and able? So you have less enjoyment and higher risk of injury if you're not fit and you're not really connected. And when your mind knows that you're not fit, it makes it uncomfortable, and you don't have that same confidence when you're skiing, and you also don't tend to know what your limits are in the proper way. And so those are things that you should do by doing yoga, by doing functional training, balance exercises, running, strength training. Dancing and tennis are great for skiing, but running up and down hills, and the downhill part, you can see how steep it is here, so eventually we're going to be back down at sea level, so I'm pretty high up. Cars parked closer to the coast, so I've run up this hill, and amazingly enough, it wasn't hard. So at age 61, when you're running up a hill and it's not hard, that's kind of a cool thing. And really excited that it isn't hard for me right now. So that's giving me a sign that I'm ready. So what I want to do now is maybe get an extra 10% of fitness. So I maintain fitness with the maintenance workouts year round. Lots of running, lots of tennis, lots of hiking, lots of swimming, lots of floor exercises and bar exercises. Constantly doing that. And so fitness year round, but the heightened part of fitness for skiing would be getting myself so fit that I will have an easier time adapting to the altitude. The top of Vail is about 10,000 feet, and it takes you about 1 week, they say, per 1,000 feet. So I'll never get acclimated in a 2-week period to the top of Vail. but I want to get as fit as I can before I get there to make that transition easier. So now I just want to keep going, and I want to keep the aspiration, the transfer of my carbon dioxide and pulling in oxygen, releasing carbon dioxide out into the atmosphere. That's respiration. And that's what I want to do. Keep that going, keep the fluids going, keep releasing endorphins. It's good for your digestion, and it's free. Getting out in nature is so wonderful. You have stress. One of the reasons we have stress is because we're denatured. And there's a great book from about 15 years ago called The Nature Principle. So if you're away from nature, it's natural to be stressed and have more anxiety, perhaps more aggression, and more lack of positive energy. So it's easy to get into things that you shouldn't be getting into, substances and other habits that are not good for you. So you want to get out and do this physical activity, and it doesn't have to be running. Here's a person doing some cycling over here. So that's really good. And there's someone with a dog. So just, dog walking, cycling, even shuffleboard, ping pong's tremendous. So something movement oriented, gardening. You can garden in bare feet. That would be good, grounded to the earth. And all these things, physical movement is really good. And there's a person that's really well designed, thin person, doesn't have really big shoulders, just a really good build for cycling. And now he's going up. And that's a challenge, to be up on your arms, out of your saddle, as they say, on the cycle. So on your bike. So all this stuff is good, and getting out and getting it done early is really good. I often tell people in my coaching and my writing, not a lot of positivity happens 2 hours after dinner at night. So let's say you eat at 7, now it's 9 o'clock. What really good stuff happens for most people between 9 p.m. and sleep time, whether they sleep at 11 or 1 in the morning. Often just trying to kind of salvage part of their own freedom, like they can be their own king of the channel flipping or queen of the internet, or sometimes arguing, or sometimes grabbing a bag of chips, an hour or two after dinner, and ice cream and all this type of stuff. Not a lot of good happens for most people after dinner, 2 hours after dinner. So that's why I say, get this stuff done early. See the sunrise. That's what hunting and gathering people often did. See the sunrise, see the sunset, do some stretching at night, have your dinner, and then go to sleep early. And take a nap too, if you have time to take a nap between 10 and 3, 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. If I'm up at 3 something, by 10 o'clock, that's 6+ hours, right? So I've already been up quite a bit. So if I have 1 or 2 meals, might nod off for a while, 20 minutes or an hour, and get that done. And then you have this living 2 days in one. Diurnal living means up with the sun and down with the sunset. That's diurnal living. And then there's the other one, that's the Spanish siesta style living, where you get 2 days in one. So you sleep, if you're in warm Spain or hot Spain, you sleep in those peak sun hours, and then you go back out again, and you are out in the evening, where it could be kids in the street at 11 o'clock at night and grandma watching them. That's very common, or at least it was very common when I spent some time in Spain in the late 90s. So that tradition, the siesta, was dying, unfortunately, when I was there. They were becoming more like Japanese and Americans, these people who work all the time and they don't close their businesses down and have that release and go have lunch with friends and family, take a siesta, and then come back and work in that second shift. So keep my run going here, and encourage you all to take advantage of the free gift from our heritage, the free gift from the universe, free gift from God, which is getting out in nature. And there's nothing like it at all. And if you get on maintenance, all of this is just part of your day. You just go out, you do it, and you feel good, and it's part of your day. If you're out of shape, you're not fit, then everything is hard. So you're constantly in this battle with transformation, trying to get fit, trying to lose pounds, trying to get your posture improved, all those types of things. But once you're on maintenance, my goodness, how enjoyable is this? And that I think is the biggest disconnect of the post-1970s era till now, is this emphasis on transformational fitness, losing weight, getting ripped, improving your posture, and getting off of cigarettes and booze and whatever else people are doing that's deleterious to their system. Before that, everybody was already on maintenance. Most people were on maintenance, so dancing, working on a farm, climbing stairs was just no big deal. And they got all these benefits, their biochemistry and their physiology had all these benefits that it was just part of life. And now, because people are so out of shape and not on maintenance, everything's so hard, and they never get to that level of maintenance. And the CrossFit people that I've seen out there working out, they're pushing all this heavy weight and heavy jumping and lots of bar exercises and running. And there's no way that 98% of them are going to be able to do that more than 5 years. That's it. They're going to push, and then their system, their unconscious mind's going to tell them, I can't do that. It's just not good for me. And I'm too tired all the time. I'm always in recovery. Whereas if you get on maintenance and you have a varied workout out in nature with lots of limited sole and barefoot type of activities, the whole thing is a different life. You become the hunter-gatherer, you become the master of your domain, and it's fun and enjoyable, and you can do it. It's like a recreational activity instead of a pushing activity. So if CrossFit, if you want to get into shape quick, terrific. But it's not a maintenance activity, because you cannot maintain elite performance for decades. 1% of the population can't even do it. No, it's far less than 1% of the population that can do that. Because first of all, you're not getting paid for it, you're not producing any food. If you were doing it as a hunting and gathering person, if you're doing it as a farmer, lots more motivation, because that's how you eat and that's how you provide for your family. But the idea of doing something you're not getting paid for, lifting heavy bags of sand and doing all these squats and jump squats and all this stuff, you can't do it. And the statistics will bear that out. And I wish people doing that a happy transition from the losing the pounds, getting fit, and then transitioning out into doing, yes, some hard stuff still. Running up a mountain's not easy, but don't feel bad when in year 2, year 5, that you've had enough of heavy duty body boot camp, CrossFit type, higher impact, what would I call it, challenging and repetition, squats, and then do some other exercise, and then more squats, and do some other push-ups, and then more squats, and then more push-ups. It's like being in high school wrestling as a 35-year-old, as a 45-year-old. Come on, you can't do it. You certainly, I know the group here in town, they're doing 5 days a week. And some of those days are runs, and some of the days are, lifting heavy things and doing all those squats and push-ups. It's just, you can't be in high school wrestling, which is college wrestling. Some of the hardest workouts ever done are those two. You can't do it for decades. It's just impossible. So I'm Sifu Slim, asking you to please like, please subscribe, leave your comments down below, and I will be going up this hill right now. So I'm wishing you all the best in your health, happiness, and wellness. Aloha, and if you need coaching, please tap into me. I'll take some of the motivation, inspiration, and information that I have and work with you to get you to a goal that's realistic for you. Fitness, wellness, and life coaching. Tap into that at sifuslim.com. Send me an email, we'll schedule an appointment, or just go to the calendar and schedule yourself in. Aloha. Woo!